All right, continuing from part 1. Receptivity to me determines if women have been doing what they are supposed to do. Supernatural, Superman, supper, and suppose, what you're supposed to do, are all connected. Women have been overestimating themselves if they think they can masterfully work it from the inside. God consciousness, martial arts, levels of consciousness, the subconscious, they're all connected. We think about the story of the scorpion and the frog. It is a very powerful example of why they're wrong. Just like Jesus saying, you're a brood of vipers, right? No bad tree can bear good fruit, and so on. Okay? The frog carried the scorpion across a river to keep it from, during a flood. Okay? He carried the scorpion across a body of water on its back. Okay? At least he was trying to. And the scorpion stung the frog in the back. And basically, the moral of the story is that it was the nature of the scorpion to sting the frog. So when the frog asked the scorpion, why did you sting me when I'm trying to save you? He says, it is my nature. Everyone is in the nature of the scorpion king and not the hawk king. Everyone is in the Luciferian energy of the scorpion king and not the hawk king. And therefore, they are doomed to fail. You know, somebody who is the child of a snake, when asked, you know, why do you think you can connect to God, and is being mocked? Okay, you're not a hawk. Okay, you are not. There are no hawks left to lead you, and you are not a hawk. So why do you think you are a leader? He's not. It goes back to my formula. Everybody must be taken off 1.1 by default. They must all not be considered leaders, and even together, they cannot achieve that A grade. All right, so obviously they're fuming me right now. It's making it hard for me to communicate my point, but just like with my other points, I'm communicating them effectively. So that's nonetheless, and the idea is still sound. So they can redefine the idea all they want, but if you're smart, you'll see that I'm right and you'll follow suit. The suitable helper of God, and not a bunch of conformist cowards, unprincipled weaklings, with indifference to the divine order and to the deeper implications of what I'm trying to do. Okay, so the non-Sun martial artists are completely discredited in regards to leadership. Everyone, for the reasons I've described in part 1 and in this video, are completely discredited, their offspring in the future, in regards to leadership. Let's look at psychology, media, and communication. Psychologists assist the media and the social control mechanism of the corporate state that communicate messages effectively to the conscious and subconscious minds of people that are bred to be receptive to this obvious tactic. They lie and help confuse people about consent and their worth with mental health, military, law enforcement, educational groups, corporate allies, civic institutions, and pretty much everybody on the planet other than me. They're basically, everyone is doing a form of racism where they're discriminating against the God race, and they're getting you to confuse you about how they're doing that. The racist discrimination is mostly aimed at black people, to confuse you about the fact that they're discriminating against the God race within the black, what people who appear to be the black bloodline. Okay? This is the God race, and they communicate the spirit to other people and allow them the chance, without necessarily having to have sex with them, to transform their seeds in the future by pointing them in the right direction. Without this key component, there is no going in the right direction. And when you look at this thing, because I have ruled this way, they must accept it. There, on some level, the universe is conscious. God obviously knows. The human conscious is aware that I have ruled against them, that they are cut out. The sun gate is closed. So eugenics draws on every science department and scientist that is allowed to speak. Trade route mages / illusionists use their scientific allies to redefine and twist natural truths and revise truths, using unnatural combat to justify their domination. The only worthwhile and sacred parts of a culture that is associated with an ethnic group are the parts that elevate the most righteous men, that must be pure Sun Temple, masculine spirit-having martial artists over others, given the top martial artist his rightful place. All morality flows from there. All other parts of the culture can be discarded. So one must identify sources of evil and adversity to the pure, virtuous, masculine Sun Temple martial arts order. Number 2, women silently concede my suitable helper argument, the opposition as well. We don't even see them beginning to address it because they have silently conceded it. When I first started making videos, I had trolls all over the place. People would argue with me all over the place. Now we see them silently conceding it. We see them not making any effective argument. They might use kind of straw man arguments, avoiding the argument. When you use the straw man and you avoid the argument, it is a form of conceding. Perhaps only in regards to the most important arguments that one can make. The meaning of life, what a suitable helper is, the form of martial arts challenges, etc. So they basically have silently conceded my point for that reason. You're an idiot if you don't see it that way. Number 3, why do women lack the moral determination to follow me and accept me as the archetype of the ideal American man and pharaoh? Obviously, it has to do with a great many of things, some of which are selfishness, shallowness, pettiness, the fact that they're the unfocused and more emotional sex. They're materialistic. They're low-bred. They're bred by jackals, Jack L, right? Jack God, Jack the Lord. They stand firm only for selfishness and these petty principles and the principles and other principles of evil. The truth in higher logic. Cowardice is not wisdom. America is an evil nation and people are openly satanic. Its philosophies, laws, and the millions of secret society members that they have permanently hold their descendants down. The righteous should never suffer for cowards. The Bible is by the bull, and the true truth of the story is lost and remade in the cult tradition. Trade root bitches, and tradition are connected. Man must kill the most, okay, when we look at this thing, what man must do? If the most guilty parties are complicit, what man needed to do is to kill them. If the most beautiful women refuse to concede the true direction of humanity, the most logical, righteous direction, they must be put away or destroyed. Preferably destroyed. Their very existence allows for people to try to find a way to them and to sell out the righteous order of God in the process. You're better off killing them for that reason. Of course, I'm not saying to go do that. It is over. Okay? No one stood with me. It is over. Women waited until I took an oath. It is over. All they can do to have some semblance of morality is to present themselves to me and submit to my judgment, which they're not going to do, obviously, because they don't have the depth of faith, morality, the moral will, the moral determination, or any respectable characteristic worth saving. This is also why they're going to breed inferior, they're snakes going to breed vipers and jackals and hippos and nonsensical garbage, regardless of what, humanics, right? What kind of testosterone boosters they take. Mankind is going to be a bunch of unfocused, ill-gotten gain bitches trying to boost chemicals in their body to make up for it. Just absolutely despicable, just abominations, just filth. All right. So what we see is people are suffering for the most fit to live in an extremely evil and extremely dishonorable society to continue the human race. Even to eat, to pay taxes, to breathe, in your compatible with controlled opposition culture form, compatible with the global controlled culture movements, is unforgivably evil. Okay. Science is controlled by the fertility sex cult. All secret societies are basically sex cults, elites. Okay. These are trade root bitches. So therefore, scientists have hopelessly discredited themselves in terms of God. You're an idiot if you listen to them about it. Unless they're agreeing with me, obviously. Because if they're truly scientific about it, they're going to come to the same conclusions I have, which science also points to, that this is the only way things can be done. They just don't have the heart to tell the truth, and if they did, no one's allowed to listen to them. All right. We look at high-value targets, the trades. The trade root bitches, their goods, women with their airhead princess complexes, upholding the principles of evil and cunning, rich Mr. Burns types of bitches, the Smithers types of pussies, the main philosophy pushers. These, if man was to wage war against the New World Order, these are the types of people they would kill. You see how despicable the attractive woman is, right? She is key in their psychological construct in getting people to move in that direction. When somebody has been sold to you as ideal, The attractive woman is an ideal woman, no matter how you slice it. The problem is she's an evil in the absence of God, no matter how you slice it. So even in the absence of God, we must default with what the body, right? They don't have the mind with God, and they don't have the spirit with God. So how much their body mimics, the attractive body of a woman of God is therefore the only worth they have left. So therefore, they're using that to get people to breed toward evil. And this is why people are in the scorpion, the scorpion energy, the Luciferian energy, the jackal, the hippo, the bull, the wolf, the dragon, and so on. Okay, so going back to my argument about focusedness, right? If there's a lot of water in an unfocused manner spraying everywhere to move something, right? Somebody can move and strike evil with an unfocused energy, but they are not focusing their soul toward God. So it's like water pushing a punching bag, right? You're spraying it all. It's a lawn hose that's been adjusted and configured to spray out like this, and it's pushing the punching bag just a little bit. Versus it's been configured to precisely push it, and it's pushing it effectively. Okay, you cannot then chop it up to presentation, because one can train their muscle memory and get in the habit of performing something for the audience. Okay, there's no way they can prove to you that they haven't been training to perform that task, okay, ahead of time. You understand me? So they basically learned to do a cute trick, and they've got their body, they trained their muscle memory to act in that manner. That doesn't prove a divine connection with God. You have to actually outmaneuver someone else and strike them. And if their form is quote unquote sloppy, it is going to give you the upper hand. So you can't say, well, that guy has bad form. If he has bad form, he's thrown off balance. Why couldn't you outmaneuver him? It's a nonsensical argument. So there's a difference between presentation, demonstration, right? The form of a ballerina, the form of someone doing a kata, these are learned movements. They mean nothing or very little at best. Okay, you need to outmaneuver the person in sparring. And of course, now we are in the age of technology and the sun gate closing, and in the absence of the divine order, it has allowed for these people to rise unchecked to do these things. A divine order would have used a higher moral determination to get them to do the right thing and to prevent them from cheating. Instead, we have a society where people take performance-enhancing drugs, testosterone boosters, adrenaline shots, and other ways to cheat and to trigger chemicals in the mind and the body. Okay, and you know them by the works. What kind of argument are they making and why? Okay. And of course, after I'm gone, any righteous person must make the argument that they are cut off from heaven. And now they're trying to salvage what principles of morals and morality are left to make people feel good. Oh, that feels amazing, versus that is truly the Spirit of God. Psychology, moon temple business, bitches, like they're kind of like, yeah, oh yeah, right, kind of bitches. You think God wants you to respond that way? Or with an intense martial arts focus and discipline? Going back to the comparison of the lawn hose pushing the punching bag or some kind of bottle, in a certain way, spraying everywhere, versus the focused push. You need to get past the mark of the A, right? You need to get to the level of the mark of the A, rather, to achieve the connection with God, a mark that is permanently lost after I am gone. It goes back to the story of Ra. Ra could protect his son, the Pharaoh, from all attacks of his enemies. His spirit is good with God. He's going there. His spirit is safe. But it was up to the people to love and respect him and to elevate him to be the sun shining above all, and not some kind of Luciferian flame from Prometheus with some kind of Hecate, kind of Isis, kind of scales of justice from a blind woman's emotional perspective kind of bitch, Demeter, and so on, Satet, right? Sat means to throw, and so on, and to pour. She basically was a prostitute, so did Neith become a prostitute, so was Artemis. That's why Neith didn't stay with the Temple of Horus. She was the whore that rode the beast. Isis, all these female goddesses, quote unquote, are just whores, variations of whores, different flavors of whores that ride the beast. They are not to be revered when one seeks to connect to righteousness and truth. That idea ends with me.